Okay, let's do it. Hey, good evening, my friends. It's Mark Schultz with DigitalAircraft, founder of DigitalAircraft, here with Gabriel. Gabriel, how you doing tonight?
Doing well. What's going on?
Hey, it's good. We had a little bye last week. We had a little bit of weather and some internet problems, and we didn't come online on Thursday night. And so I'm glad to be back, and we're here tonight for our Thursday night Ask Me Anything Blockchain and Aviation. Gabe, how was your week this week? What you been working on this week?
It's good. You know, we had no hurricanes over here in Seattle, so it was okay. Exactly. Internet was up. We're all right.
Okay.
So it's been nice. The weather's been good.
Yeah, it's really pretty sad. I don't want to make light of it because Florida has identified that they had the biggest hurricane they've had in like 35 years here in Florida, and so there's a lot of people out helping people and trying to get things squared away. And we're up in North Florida. We're quite a ways away. We're about a 6-hour drive away from where the big damage was, and so we're up here supporting people and just talking to people and continuing to do business up here. So, hey, listen, Gabe, tonight we're going to do some talking about blockchain, and tonight's our Ask Me Anything. And we're going to talk a little bit about, so we had some followers in the community who submitted some questions, and I solicited those with some of our experts in the community. And we got some good feedback. So we're going to talk about blockchain tonight. We're going to talk about cross-chain, kind of activities. We're going to have a little bit of discussion about NFTs. We're going to talk a little bit about crypto and a little bit about our personal lives. And maybe we'll find out from Gabe how much he benched this week. I don't know. We'll see. That'll be a little secret. Yeah. So, hey, let's jump right into it. So, hey, one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to remind all of you that, hey, listen, for those of you watching tonight and those of you that are out there, really would appreciate it if you'd just give us a shout out and let us know where you are. I'll give you a recognition, and you can share this stream. And we're always looking for live questions. We do have some questions that people submitted to us during the week that we're going to bring up here tonight in just a second, and it's going to be some good conversation. But if you will submit your questions, you can ask me anything tonight, and we will have some conversation with you about it. But hey, let's start out why people are sharing and why people are putting a little comment in on where they're located. I'll start out with a question that was submitted by one of the viewers out there. Let's go ahead and just throw that first slide up there if we could. And this first question was submitted by Kevin Cad, and Kevin has been a regular follower, and he's over in Europe, and it's too late over there. Those guys are mostly sleeping over there. And he asked me if I could include the question, and then he would be able to follow it a little bit later. And so Kevin Cad, he's the head of product and solutions at Keep Flying. And I've met the guys that Keep Flying at different conferences over in London and down in Miami. And they're a company which is enabling a new era of aviation, digital fin twins, they're calling it, financial twins, similar to a digital twin. And basically through data science and through distributed platforms, they're really using blockchain and different technologies to be able to do significant analytics, really that are creating efficiency in the aircraft or in the operation of the aircraft, revolving around assets and revenue management potential and really focusing on assets. So, Kevin, I really appreciate you submitting this question. And let's just jump right into the question. I'm going to throw it out there and we'll use this to get us kicked off. Hey, listen, while we're getting going here, just wanted to give a shout out to Denny's. He follows us on a regular basis in Hanover, and I know it's late there. Denny's, I really appreciate you being here from Germany. I'm glad to have you on board, and he's been hearing a lot of our broadcasts. Gabe, I remember seeing his name out there quite a bit, so I know he follows.
I do too.
So yeah, thanks a lot. So listen, let's go ahead and throw the question up there, the second slide that we have, and we're going to dig right into it. So Gabe, we're going to look at some of what the answers are, and we're going to have to probably move that over because I actually can't see it. So maybe we could make it the one on the side over there. If we could do that, please make it the small one on the side. All right. Let's do that. There we go. Let's see if we can do that. That'll be a little bit better. Yeah, just having a little bit of screen difficulties, here tonight. All right. So perfect. All right, very good. I still can't read it. So let's make it full screen. All right. Thank you. Sorry about that, my folks. Having a little bit of trouble with it. So Gabe, I'm not going to be able to do it. You're going to have to read this question for us tonight. Go for it.
No problem. All right. So here we go. A number of groups have sprung up in aviation to help deliver a blockchain solution, which is a wonderful thing, but this can lead to fragmentation within the market. I understand that ultimately businesses want to monetize their IP, but what are companies doing to ensure that we don't end up with incompatible chains and data that is then locked away in yet another proprietary format? End users rarely consider this use case on one day, but after 10 years, as the market matures, being locked into the wrong chain is a risk that needs mitigating on day one and could be a barrier to entry. Any thoughts?
Yep, exactly. And so first of all, Kevin, thank you for asking that question. I think that's
question.
It's a really good, insightful question. And, and I think that really comes from experience where people have been in the industry for a long time. And you know that anytime we're introducing any kind of new technology, we're always really concerned about, will that technology be obsolete, or will I be able to access that data in the future, or will I be able to integrate with it, or what about the API? And, we have systems today that maybe we have data in that we can't integrate with because maybe the technology is old. So that's a really good question. But, Kevin, let me tell you what I did. I reached out to some of the experts that have been on our live broadcasts over the last, 3 months. And I asked them this question, and I said, guys, give me some feedback so that we can talk to Kevin and all the people following out there and just give them a good answer. So let's go to the next slide. So listen, on the next slide, you guys may remember that Horst Trebelmeyer is one of our contributors who's been part of the blockchain aviation effort. And he's a professor at International Model University in Vienna. And he's specialized for quite a few years in teaching and researching. And he's done 500 research papers. But his specialty right now is blockchain and Web3 technologies. And so I just sent it out to him and I said, Horst, how would you answer this? Okay. And so let's just kind of step through this. Gabe, let me read the first one and you can maybe take the next ones there. Okay. But he said, yes, choosing the right chain is definitely an issue. You don't want to participate in a chain that locks you in, or even worse, is stopped, or maybe it goes out of business, I think is what he means. And so his advice, for public permissionless chains, so chains that are public, all right, would be to go with the big names, and for private permission solutions, take one that's been tested in the field. So let's boil that down. Gabe, let's talk about that. He's saying, first of all, he says, number one advice is, if you're using a public chain, you're going to have to look at one that's real stable and is solid and has got a good business plan and has the greatest probability, of being there long term. I mean, we're all faced with that when we're looking at adopting any kind of a software solution or a business. Working with a business is that how stable are they, and how do they look for the long run? Okay. And then, Gabe, I think that on the second half of that, what he's saying is that for private ones, he's saying go with private, platforms, private chains that have been tested and that are proven and are, going to be successful. So I see his first part of that answer is go with something that's got a stable business and go with one that's, basically proven. Now, what kind of thoughts do you have on that, Gabe?
Yeah, well, so just that's one reason why we see that. There is a little thing about Ethereum in there. That's one reason why we see so many people building on Ethereum, because it's one of the biggest and one of the most stable crypto blockchains out there, and it's been out for a while, and it's been used and trusted, and it's a good blockchain. So that's why one reason, and it's got the most people creating on it, most decentralized applications. So once again, that's one reason why definitely you want to be using something like that. So yeah, very good. And then the second half of that, Horst's comment is that being on a specific chain doesn't necessarily mean that you're locked into those kind of solutions. But he brings up the idea of interoperability or bridging, that are currently being developed to go cross chain. So Gabe, do you have any thoughts on the importance of being able to go cross chain? So like he said, we're a lot of people we're creating bridges for a lot of different blockchains, but it's definitely a big thing. I think that there's also some other solutions out there when it comes to bringing off-chain data on-chain, such as Oracle networks like Chainlink and API3, and that's another conversation. But Quant, I agree with the use of bridges. It's a whole lot easier to do stuff if you needed to go from one chain to another.
Yeah. And listen, the third person that I'm going to bring up addresses that a little bit more. So we're going to continue that conversation in the third response I got. And then actually the third thing that Horst Troublemeyer said is that it's not impossible to switch chains, because he said that there was a case here that he knew of where there was a company that was building a solution in Nepal. And I don't know the detail behind it, but for whatever reason, they wouldn't allow the use of Ethereum. And so they switched. And so, it's not impossible to do that. So we're all faced with external factors in our business. It's not just blockchain. It's a lot of things that we're faced with in life where we can't let those external factors affect the success of our business. And that's exactly one case there. Let's go to the next slide. All right. So thank you, Horst. I know you're probably going to see this and you'll comment on it, and I really appreciate you providing your input. Next, you guys may have remembered that we had Luis Santos on our broadcast 2 times, our very first one and then later on. And he's the CEO of Earhart Solutions, and they're a blockchain asset solution, which is based on NFTs and records is what they are. But he's also a professor, a PhD, and he teaches aviation and blockchain and things like that. So Gabe, do you remember when Luis was on a couple times?
I do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. How can we forget? No, he's very knowledgeable, and we're actually going to be doing some more with him over the next couple of months, and we're going to feature his solution a little bit so you can get a little bit more understanding it. But anyway, one of the things he points out is standards. He says we at Earhart are following standards. And so I know there's not a lot of blockchain standards yet, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to follow ICAO and EASA and FAA requirements regarding IT. So first of all, they're saying that we need to follow as many standards as we can for, like records and, execution and accomplishment, electronic signature and things like that. And so they're adopting the standards that exist out there today into their blockchain solutions while we're continuing to work on those things. And then also he said he's been thinking about this solution in the past. And then he said that's why they chose Newells, which is a layer 1. And I'm actually not real familiar with Newells. And Gabe, I don't think you are either, right? That particular.
I'm not. There's so many different blockchains out there. It's not one that I personally have done research on, but
yeah. I do know that Luis said that they adopted that one because of a lot of reasons. But one of them, he said that one of the features is that this has a lot of cross-chain capabilities. And he said right now, today, it works with more than 10 different blockchains. So, Luis, that's a really great, input. Gabe, maybe you can catch the last 3, points there. Okay.
Oh yeah. So it's just the third point was him confirming that pretty much answers the concern of the followers. 4, he said this means that we can read and work from other blockchains. But the others don't necessarily read from the Newells blockchain. And then for number 5, I believe this cross-chain capabilities is not as common in other networks. So, like you were saying earlier, one of the reasons why he chooses Newells is because not as many blockchains out there have that sort of compatibility. So.
Yeah, and it looks like he's saying that one consideration is that it can read, but it doesn't necessarily mean that other chains can read from Newells. And so certainly you'd have to be evaluating the right, chains, blockchains for your solution. But I thought this was a good approach, is that they chose that because they were considering how do we have maximum exposure to accessing data across different chains. I thought that was really interesting.
Right.
Very good. Okay, let's go to the third one, please. So this is LV. He goes by LV, and he's the co-founder and CTO, the Chief Technology Officer of a company called Real Variable. And he's been on, as well as some of the others at Real Variable, on our broadcast a couple of times. And they're a company which has in production blockchain solutions for enterprise supply chain and for warranty management. They've actually done production solutions for Nissan and BMW and DHL, and they've done integrations with SAP. And so they have a lot of experience in this area. And so I thought this was a very unique point that he brought out. He said consolidation is happening at the technology layer for blockchain. And he says organizations need to ask just one question when they adapt: is the blockchain solution interoperable? Okay. And so the question is that it's not necessarily, I think what he's trying to say is it's not necessarily about the data, but it's about the interoperability. So can you access different chains, and what is the overall functionality, and what is the capabilities of the solution that you're working on? Not necessarily what is the chain that it's getting the data from. Gabe, I think you've done a little bit of research on some of the chains that that are cross-chain, like Chainlink and things like that. And I know it's a challenge sometimes, but have you done any research on those at all, and really what the function of those are?
Yeah, I have, and there's some out there like we were talking about. I think we've even talked about it before. Blockchain solutions like Chainlink and API3. I think Quant also is under the realm of an Oracle solution, where pretty much through the use of their smart contracts, and there's a lot of, it's hard to get into it, but there's a lot of node operators, and the way that the way that the blockchain is secured is through, we've got all these node operators and these smart contracts, and we've got off-chain node operators, and they're bringing in information on chain, and the contracts are kind of complicated, so I can't even get into that, but there are solutions like that where there are node operators and they are able to bring off-chain data on chain. So
I think, Gabe,
that's just a very low level.
Yeah, I think one of the things he's doing is he's pointing out the fact that we need to look at interoperability. So, what is the ability of an application to operate and to access transactions, and what's the functionality or capability of the chain, and basically, how can it connect across chains and connect information across various chains? He says, and like, for example, let me tell you a little bit about what Real Variable does. So, Real Variable basically connects supply chains to lots of different suppliers that might be providing parts, in a supply chain and logistics process. And so they have to have different methods of accessing the data. They have to integrate with SAP. They have to provide spreadsheet uploads. They have to provide different ways to be able to access the data. And so I think what he's saying is that it's all about, the functionality of the application and its ability to be able to access and exchange data, which is really important. And, you think about it over time, is that we have standards that change in applications, and we have standards which change with respect to APIs and middleware and enterprise service buses and all those different kind of things that we have today. And so we've been challenged with this for many, many years. And I think that foundationally we look at having a good design, a stable company, a well-known blockchain that we're using, and we look at any business and any application. And if we're using things which are stable or which are in production or which are likely to be in existence in the future, then we're in the best possible position for long-term success. But I'm just going to say this, is that look how fast technology changes, and how in the world can we anticipate these things? I always tell people is that we have to be flexible and dynamic, and we have to be ready to make changes and adopt different changes over time, because that's just the nature of changing technology. I mean, it just happens. Gabe, look at, even the hardware and the PCs and the computers and things we have, by the time we buy them, they're obsolete practically,
I know. I think if you know anything about computers, new graphics card, NVIDIA just came out with a brand new one.
Yeah, it's just happening constantly. And so anyway, we have to be able to, be extensible, I guess is the way I'll put it, is that we need to be able to connect and adopt technology, and it's got to be ever changing and evolving. That's probably the most important thing. So, Kevin, I really appreciate your question. Listen, maybe you can go back 3 slides to his question real quick and just make sure that we have actually addressed that question. So let's just pop back to that, and then we'll just summarize up, from this, I guess. Yeah, let's do that. So, Gabe, go ahead and read the first part of the question again. Actually, it's the second paragraph that's the most.
Yeah. So end users rarely consider this use case on day one, but after 10 years, as the market matures, being locked into the wrong chain is a risk that needs mitigating on day one and could be a barrier to entry.
Yeah. So, Kevin, we're going to wrap this up by basically saying, end users don't consider it. We need to consider this as solution providers. Is that what are we going to do to be able to provide information and a solution which is there for a long time, especially in aviation? Solutions seem to be put in place and stay there for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, or more. And so that's a really important, part, is for us to be able to do that. And as technology changes and change, we need to be able to have the ability to adapt, to that into the future. So I think that's probably the most critical thing. Gabe, any final thoughts on that?
No, I agree. Things are changing all the time. If you
Yep.
look at we're even going past blockchain and a couple of things like we hash graph and even I'm not quite sure if quant is based on blockchain, but there's the technology is it's always accelerating. So
yeah. So good. Well, listen, that was really good question, and I really appreciate Kevin, you bringing that up to us and telling us what your thoughts are on that. And anybody else out there, if you have questions during the week, bring them up, throw them out to us, and we definitely will reach out to our network and we'll find people that can help us in responding to these things. Because one of the things we're really trying to do is we're trying to create a community that's really helping one another. And together we're learning and we're advancing, technology. And one of the things we need to do in the industry today is create efficiency. Hey, listen, we're headed into a really difficult time. I think in the next couple of years is that we can all tell that our economies right now are heading into some challenging times. Inflation is high, costs are getting high, labor supplies are low. And I have so many companies I'm working with right now that are looking at digital as ways of creating efficiency right now. I mean, I'm going from company to company to company right now, and they're saying, how can we implement digital solutions in order to be able to be successful? One more thing about a couple of digital things that we're going to just switch the topic totally, to some other conversations, because we like Thursday nights to be a little bit more light. But I just wanted to say that I was at a conference 2 weeks ago in Miami. It was the Aircraft IT conference. And I don't know exactly how many people and vendors were there, but there was a lot of vendors and there was a lot of airlines and a lot of maintenance companies. And at the conference, people were there specifically to learn about IT and the things that we're doing and what are the capabilities and what's available to us in order to be able to create efficiencies in the industry. And that's a really good way for us to be able to learn, is just to not try to do it all on our own, is to reach out to people around us and to be able to gather information from people around us. And conferences are absolutely a good way to do that. I had a stage presentation there where I talked about blockchain and aviation, and I'll give a little bit more of a plug on this, in the future here. But on the 18th and 19th, I'm going to be in Bangkok, Thailand, and I'm going to be talking about blockchain and aviation again. I'll be at the Asia Pacific Aircraft IT conference, and I've done a couple of webinars. I've been asked to speak on 3 webinars recently about blockchain and aviation, and then there's another conference in Atlanta where I'm going to be speaking about blockchain and aviation on the 8th and 9th of November. Anyway, listen, this topic is so interesting to people, and people want to understand use cases, and they want to understand how they consider these things in their business. And so keep an eye out. I'll put out more schedule and more information about when you can learn about some of the talks that we're doing and some of the things like that. So listen, that's really great. And so I'm glad we had that part of the talk. Gabe, let's switch over to some other topics, because we wanted Thursday nights to be a little bit more light, and we want to include different parts of our lives. And so Gabe, I know you're into nutrition and bodybuilding, and give people weekly tips on nutrition and on bodybuilding. We got to get off of the subject of digital for a minute. Yeah, I think you're on mute maybe or something. We lost you.
Sorry about that. No, I mean, there's so much to talk about digital. So besides the bodybuilding, if you've been keeping up with there's a big lawsuit going on with the SEC and XRP. Keep an eye on keep an eye on that lawsuit, because it's going to be a big deal whatever the outcome is for that. But when it comes to staying fit, you have to be consistent with whatever you're doing. I know we get into these, we get excited when we start going to the gym at first, or we're eating well. But let me just tell you, it goes away. The excitement goes away, and you have to grind through it a little bit. So you need to stay consistent. If you don't want to go to the gym, you just have to. You have to get up. Do you go to the gym every day, Gabe? Do you go to the gym every day, or almost every day, or what? Pretty much every day. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. And what's your routine? What do you do? I mean, I know that you tell me you switch things up. What hurts today?
Today was legs. So you cannot forget legs. Also, there's a lot of studies out there showing that hitting legs, working out your legs instead of skipping leg day, actually increases testosterone. So let's not skip leg day.
Okay.
Always remember leg day, because I know we like to just go straight to the bench, and we like to
Okay.
go to the biceps. But
All right. Okay. That's our tip for the week is don't skip leg
don't
day.
skip legs.
All right. Okay. Well, then since we're on that subject, what's the best nutrition to be able to, boost your energy?
Boosting energy?
Yeah.
Other than caffeine, we need to eat better. Okay, because if we're eating fast food and eating unhealthy, it at least in my personal opinion, some people can eat whatever and they feel great, but with me, if I'm not eating relatively healthy, just in general, you'll have just so much more energy. So in my personal experience, that might not be for everybody, but that's what I have found for myself.
Excellent. All right. Okay. Those are a couple of really good tips for this week. And hey, for those of you that are wondering, maybe where's Rachel this week? Rachel had a friend's birthday party to go to, and she couldn't be here this week, and she'll be back next week and bringing in her tips from the things she's doing. And so we're missing her this week. Get a little of her input on things. So listen, let's go to one other thing. I want to talk a little bit about business for a minute on our side. Gabe and I have been working this week on our NFT project. We're continuing to grow it. We were continuing to mint and publish our NFTs this week. We sold a couple more of our stages NFTs this week, and so we're growing. We actually sold 2 more this week. And I want to tell you just a minute about our project, just real quick, on our Aviator Peeps project. So maybe we'll just throw a slide up real quick and just tell you about it. So we have this NFT project that we've done, and some of you have heard us talk about it, and I'll give you a quick status update. Our Aviator Peeps project, and I'm just going to tell you quickly what it is. It's an NFT project, a utility NFT project. Gabe, tell everybody why it's important to have utility in an NFT.
Not just NFTs, but any sort of cryptocurrency, any sort of token, utility is, I think, one of the biggest things that there needs to be in any sort of token, because if not, we're just speculating, and there's no real utility, no real use cases. So yeah, we are looking for utility in whatever project we're looking at or we're making. Are we able to use this in the real world applications?
Hey, Gabe, I think that if I translate that right back to what LV told us, he said that, interoperability, I'm going to extend that to utility. He's saying, what's the utility of your program, of your application? Is it have the utility to be able to extend itself, to have APIs and to have the functionality that's needed to be able to be there for the long run. And if I bring that right back to NFTs, that's what we're saying. We're saying that NFTs have to have, utility. So anyway, we've created this thing called Aviator Peeps NFTs, and maybe we'll go to the next slide here, and I'll just tell you a little bit about what it is. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but I told you that we sold a couple of our Aviator Peeps stages NFTs this week. And what the stages NFT is, this project, what's the utility? We're basically selling our products and services, and we're attaching it to an NFT as part of the tool to be able to engage in blockchain. And so what it really is that many people want to come onto our stage, and they want to be able to access our network, and they want to be able to reach the people that follow DigitalAircraft. And so what we do is we bring them onto the stage, and we help them to talk about their company and about the things that they do and what is the main point, what are their unique selling points. I have one that I'm doing tomorrow. We're going to go live tomorrow with somebody, and we're going to be talking about their particular company and what they do and what's coming up. And that's the kind of thing that we do as part of the Aviator Peeps stages. We basically help people to get their message out. How can people buy from you? How can people access your valuable products and services if they don't even know who you are? So we help people to refine their message and to be able to get it out. And so if you acquire one of our NFTs, it is the Stages NFT, then you get access to our network, and we help you to be able to get your message out. And we have some things that we're doing over the next couple of weeks with people. We're promoting a conference event. I'm promoting 2 companies. I'm going to be doing some webinars, and all those things are part of the things that we do in the business as part of the stages. So that's really good. So what I want to do is I want to just jump to the end of this presentation and just kind of give you a quick summary of where you can find these. And I think we have a quick slide which says where they're located at. It says OpenSea.io. And Gabe, tell everybody really quickly, what is OpenSea.io? Mute, Gabe.
Sorry, there's just background noise, so I'm trying to mute myself.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and OpenSea is just the largest NFT marketplace out there. So we decided to go with OpenSea to post our NFTs on there. Buy and sell NFTs. That's OpenSea.
Yeah, right. And actually, there's a link there, and it's actually a couple more slides past that. If we just keep going a couple more, beyond that, go back one more. There you go. You had it. Back one more. Perfect. There we go. So now minting on OpenSea.io, and it's the Aviator Peeps NFT Utility, and there's the address down there. And so we have 3 different levels of Aviator Peeps NFTs. Number 1, we have the stages. Number 2, we have something called admission. And Gabe and I were on a call today with a company. Gabe, maybe you could say something about the company that we're talking to. Don't say who they are, but we're talking to a company about providing some education services. Can you just talk a little bit about that a little bit?
Yeah, so in our portal, we are going to be offering a training. So if you are a holder of the Aviator Peeps admission, you're going to get access to multiple different things. But one of the things that we just had a conversation with was a training in blockchain and cryptocurrency.
Yeah. And
don't say the name.
No, don't say the name. No,
okay.
No. The agreement's not finalized yet. But yeah. I do have 3 people that have committed to do training in our portal. We're going to be doing live training in our portal about blockchain, and then we're going to be giving a preview to this advanced course, this advanced training course in there. And then if you're a holder of our NFT, you're going to be able to get significant discounts and access to a really full-blown training course, and that's really from the Aviator Peeps admission NFT. And then finally, we actually have a collectible, which is our Aviator Peeps Connect NFT. I'm going to tell you quickly what the idea was behind this originally is that we believe that that business to business and people to people connections are extremely important, and especially in aviation. Aviation connects people, it connects us in business, it connects us with family and friends all around the world. And so we called this collection the Aviator Peeps Connect collection. And this is our collection where you can basically go buy a collectible, and there'll be additional rewards and things which come out in the future. But right now it's a collectible. And keep your ears to our broadcast here today, because I'm going to be doing a major giveaway in Bangkok and a major giveaway in Atlanta of some of our NFTs. And so you're going to want to watch, and you're going to keep an eye out, because we're going to be giving away some of our NFTs in order to be able to help you make your first step into blockchain. If you're not in blockchain, we're going to help you get into blockchain. We're going to help you by, getting an NFT into your hands. We're going to help you with education and training. And if you want to get help in getting your message out, we're going to help you with getting your message out, because we love helping people. So that's kind of what we got here tonight. And hey, listen, everybody, thanks for hanging with us here, Gabe. And hey, Gabe, what's exciting about what we're doing these days for you? What's the most exciting thing that we're doing for you?
The most exciting thing that we're doing?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, the most exciting thing that I've done in a while was launch an NFT project.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many people have done that before.
Not a lot. Not a lot. So that's been really pretty cool. And for me, it's exciting to be able to package that with our products and services, that we can help even more people, with our products and services. So that's really exciting for me. So, hey, listen, that pretty much brings us to a conclusion here tonight. I want to thank you for coming to our Thursday night Ask Me Anything broadcast. And I want to tell you, if you have questions, just bring them up this week. And we'll just put up our last slide, which is how do you get in touch with us? And basically, these are the DigitalAircraft official links, and we're all over social media, mostly on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Gabe, how can they join our Discord?
Join our Discord. I don't think you need to download the Discord application, but there's a link. It might make you download the application.
There's a link on Twitter, basically.
Okay, yeah. And so ask us questions there. That's the easiest for us. Voice channels, text channels, a little bit easier than the other ways to ask.
And some of those other platforms we have created, and we just replicate content on those other platforms because just there's other people. We want to reach as many people as possible. But our primary platforms are LinkedIn, our website, Twitter, and Discord, and YouTube. And if you want to watch any of the replays of anything we do, you can go to YouTube. And if you want to get in touch with me, do it on LinkedIn, or you can send me an email at mark@digitalaircraft.org, and I will reach back out to you. Kevin reached out to me this week on LinkedIn, asked me the question, and we will respond, and we will do that. Thanks for joining. We're really excited about building and growing this community. It's really growing even faster than ever before. I appreciate you joining. We will see you on some of our broadcasts this week. We have one for sure. We have one for sure tomorrow, and then we have 2 or 3 next week, I think. Generally, they're on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So keep your eye out Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 1600 GMT. Watch for our live broadcast. We will see you soon. Fair winds and following seas. Gabe, thanks for being here tonight. We look forward to our next event. Bye for now.